Super BS.
What's up, and welcome back to Super BS. They didn't think we could do it. I got Reggie, Phil, Le Mignon, Phil Spence, the whole gang. They said, hey, you guys can't do it. There's no way this is possible. And we totally did it. We got it, guys. superbscast@gmail.com. We did it. We got the email. No one said it was possible, but we did it! Yeah! Anyways, we are back again.
What are the other choices? Tell
Shut up.
Tell the
Shut.
Tell Dave and Jake what the other choices were.
I actually can't remember. I think it was like superbs.dumbidiots. I don't know. At farts. At farts.com.
Okay.
But anyways, I am here. I am Frank Broderson. I'm here to kick butt and take names. I'm all out of butts. So now, anyways, we're back. Frank Broderson's dead. Sorry, guys, that was his last words.
I really know someone named Broderson.
I don't care if you know everybody named Broderson, okay? That guy sucks. I don't even want to know a Frank Broderson. Stank Broderson. You know that tool, Stank Broderson?
Oh man.
But anyways, I am Brian Wagner, and next to me, as always, is
Josh Peterson, also
Nice.
known as Jank Jankerson.
Jankerson,
that who
and
we're
then we got on ourselves. He's on us, guys.
On our-
for honor.
On ourselves. No, he was here last week as Stank Bank, Bank Stanker.
Right.
Sin, what's your real name, you fool?
My real name is Dave.
Dave? We don't know his last name, though. He might be a murderer.
Yeah, just Dave's good. Dave's
Oh
good
my
for now.
goodness, Dave. Well, nobody will ever know his last name, and we got a brand new guest, first time ever, Super BS. Warm welcome to
Brian Wagner.
Damn it! No! That's not how this goes! That ended a long time ago. So anyways, let's try this again.
Some people know me as Stank McMaster, but
Damn it!
my birth name is Jake Mark Schaffer. You can check out my website at jakemarkschaffer.com.
No
also
plugs!
on
No
IMDb?
plugs!
I am on IMDb from the one
No,
soap
no.
opera episode I was on, so that's
You
kind
were
of
on
cool.
several
I was
episodes.
on a
Oh
soap.
my god.
No, just one.
This is never
I was on
good.
another one, but I didn't have lines, so you
What
don't
was
get
this?
credit.
Oh, okay.
What soap opera was this?
Daves of Our Lives?
Daves
No.
of Our
Days
Lives.
of Our
Lives.
Butts.
The soap opera that plays in my mind every day.
That is my soaps
And
that I love.
Dave's of my life is Dave sitting next to me, and then my father, David. So
Right. Dave is in your life.
I used to call Dave all the time when I was trying to call my dad.
True.
So there's
And I'd be like, hey, Dad. I'd be like, this is Dave, bro.
But sometimes I would pretend to be your dad, and it would go on for 10, 15 minutes. and
Really
you-
long.
You wouldn't know. And I'd
Yeah.
be like,
And sometimes I was like, hey, I'm your father, and I had you at birth, and you still didn't know, and you told me all your deepest, darkest secrets, and I fell in love with you. Just like it always happens.
Bold and the Beautiful was what I was on. One episode with lines. I was on a second episode.
what did you do in that episode? Do you recall?
I do. I was, at the time, I was working at
He was a butt boy.
Medieval Times as an apprentice knight.
Oh, hell
So the show came to Medieval Times Castle and wanted to do an episode. And the head knight, Jesse, they asked him if who could be a squire and who could act. And he told me, literally, he looked out over everyone. And then he was like, Jake, I saw you. And they're like, you want that guy. You don't really want anybody else. That guy can probably act.
Something similar happened when we were deciding if we should invite you on the show. And we looked about the whole crowd of our friends. and we said,
Everybody.
They all
Whole
worked at
world.
medieval times. So
Everybody at medieval times. We looked over all of them.
we went through a lot of nights to
We
find
went through
you.
No, I was an apprentice knight. I never made it to a night. My wife got pregnant, so I had to bail.
Right.
Some
Story
of
of
my
our
other
lives.
friends were on Comedy Bang Bang. They didn't have
Oh,
lines.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Kiss
They
Kiss Bang
never
Bang.
movie.
Kiss
were.
Kiss Bang Bang.
Starring Val Kilmer.
So I was on that. That was fun. So,
And-
Robert Downey Jr. is in that, right?
and then I guess since we're talking about video games, I also wrote.
We're not talking about video
Not
games,
yet,
Jake.
right? This is a long intro. Sorry, guys.
I
Sorry,
didn't
guys.
get
We
biopic
talked
like
a
this.
whole 3 minutes, guys. This is way too long.
But
Nobody
I-
likes this guff.
I did write a little bit for was it Pantheon Rise on the Fallen, which is the new MMO that they're working on. It was
Oh, that's cool.
It failed on the Kickstarter, and then they did another one, and they're working on it. And I
Let's talk about this in news.
I can't talk a lot about it. I had to sign an NDA, and then the writing team I worked on with
Which he broke.
all left. So if you were to ask anyone that's there now, because they're still working on it, they'd be like, "Who's Jake?" They'd be like, "Who is this guy? We have no idea." And all the stuff I wrote went nowhere.
And just as mysteriously as he arrived, he was gone.
I know.
And first-time listeners, second-time guest callers, you guys probably heard in our background, we got Cricket Crickerson. He's our favorite.
Good luck.
He is going to join us for the next couple weeks. We love him. We wish him the best.
Yeah, he's a fifth man.
Before we start talking about what we're gonna, before we start talking about what we're gonna play, we need to do a real quick break. I will not answer that, and I will not listen to you.
The show, Josh, you know the formula.
Badooch.
If you're tired of sifting through flea markets for rare and unique games, we can help. Retro City Games in Henderson, Nevada, only 5 minutes from the Las Vegas Strip, has all your favorite gaming staples, classics, and a wide selection of rare games with new stuff always appearing on our shelves. Come in and chat with Nicole or Doug about your love of games and watch as they help you complete your collection or find your childhood favorite. And don't forget, Retro City Games loves trade-ins. So if you have any Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega, Xbox, PlayStation, or even PC games, come in and visit Retro City Games today. Welcome to the new metropolis of gaming, Retro City Games.
And we are back. We're finally ready to talk about those games that we played, we loved, and we loved and played. We are all about, as you guys know, anime and LAN networking. So we are hoping that we got some big news coming up about anime and LAN. But for right now, let's talk about the sweet games we've been playing. Let's start with our guest, Jake Jakeyson. How you been? And Jake Jankerson. Everybody loves aliases. Jake, so
Failed aliases.
no, lovable aliases that everyone knows and loves. What have you been playing? Even if it's not recent, what was the last game you played and you loved?
I'm playing Salt and Sanctuary on my Vita, which
jealous.
Eric already talked about it a little bit, and I don't have too much to add. He's absolutely right. It's 2D Dark Souls. They did a great job with it. Super fun on the Vita, which we've all talked about how, the Vita, what could have been.
A Vita's just a worse version of the Virtual Boy, right?
That's true, and there's no games on it, and Virtual Boy's the winner.
It's awesome.
No, it's a good.
But he's right.
A good console.
It's pretty
barren now.
What? Okay.
We used to have a lot of games.
Let me ask you this: what led to the downfall of the Vita? Because
Sony
we're on Vita
no-
now? I think Q's still talking about
We're still
SS.
Okay, we'll
know
talk
Vita.
about Salt and
Guys,
Sanctuary, but we'll
flow.
sidetrack a little
Guys,
bit.
we're just four dudes celebrating each other's strength on this podcast.
I love celebrating
Yeah.
my friends' strengths. Sony stopped supporting the Vita, man. That was the
but
problem.
they're still making games.
They do. Third-party companies make great RPGs for it, but it's just like now that the Switch is out, I just don't see it lasting very long into the future.
6
but-
years old, isn't it?
I think why it failed
2013?
was games are too expensive,
2012?
and
Time.
they didn't help the IT assistants and all that stuff with like putting games out on it. It's not super easy to work with. Whenever I hear like Salt and Sanctuary and Axiom Verge and all these guys talking about development when porting it to the Vita, they're always like, it was harder to port than we thought.
Really?
And I don't know what that means. But it's like, which is so funny because at this point you'd think these people would realize like make it easy to port for your system.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. I don't know how they would do that, but it just seems so logical to me.
Also, the proprietary memory cards. I just have to real quick bring up that if you're spending $60 on a 32 gigabyte memory card and that eats up like you can probably have 10 games on it. Like I spent $100 on my 64 gigabyte memory card.
Is it an SD
That's a
card?
lot of money.
It's an
Yeah,
SD
no,
card.
it's proprietary.
SD, right?
Yeah, but it's Sony specific.
Yes, so you
couldn't-
can't buy like
can't
an
just
SD
get one.
card.
That would have been great, but I don't think that's the reason it failed.
I
Tough to say.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But, okay, so Salt and Sanctuary, you love it. It's, what's it like? Any games else that you play that you like?
No, it's 2D Dark Souls. What else am I playing? Fez.
Fez
also
is
on
great.
The Vita. I play a lot on my Vita.
Vita's one of the best, man. It's one of the
'Cause I don't-
best.
I can only really play on the go these days since I had a baby. So,
Oh, man, those
I'm on a
babies,
commercial
man,
for
they
Vita right now.
love...
Right?
I mean,
That's how it is.
commercial.
Baby on the knee, Vita in the hands, man. Ugh.
You named your daughter Vita, right?
I did.
Wow.
After
First and middle name.
Vita.
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 So you've been playing Fez, which is awesome. Have you played I feel like I talked to you not too long ago, and you were playing Fallout. I know
Well, that was a while ago. I'm playing Half-Life 2 for the first time.
Oh,
such a great
that's
game.
a great
First
one.
time playing it right now. I beat Half-Life 1 for the first time ever.
Whoa,
2
that's great
months
too.
ago.
Oh man,
So
that's
I beat Half-Life 1 first time ever like 2 months ago. I'm playing Half-Life 2 for the first time ever. Loving it. If I had to give it a critique.
a critique.
That's the correct
Which is like a
Critique.
all about our syllables.
And this is like from, after playing Halo and all these games that I'm sure emulated what was so new and fresh at the time.
Sure.
It's just, I get to like the driving levels of the boat and the car.
And a
And
little
like,
painful now, I bet.
they're not, I'm just like, I bet this was great at the time.
Yeah.
But like, it flips and I'm like, I just want to go flip it like I did in Halo. Like, but I'm like, no, it doesn't work. I'm like, I have to throw a grenade or I have to go.
Are you like running into
And just
like
like these,
rocks
like,
trying
yeah,
to-
it's just like,
Especially when you go fast, it loses control really quickly.
it's not the best. And it's kind of long level.
Yeah,
like
the levels
that.
are long.
Um,
There's still some good things about the game, though, right? Like
Oh.
like the soundtrack and
the soundtrack's tight. It's like,
Super
instead of
sparse.
like, man, like, it gets funky. Like,
Mhm.
it gets like not quite what I'd think it would be. It gets
Right.
like techno, not techno, but
yeah,
it just
there's
gets
some
like,
electronic.
got some
yeah,
beats
it
to
gets
it.
like
Yeah,
instead
yeah.
of like this like like overall arcing of a soundtrack like Halo and everything.
Yeah,
we
it's
know
nothing
these-
like that.
It's not
It-
all
it, like,
symphony.
It's
all
very
classical.
sparse and very
Yeah, it's
situational.
like suddenly it's like, oh, you hit this part of the level, let's go to the club.
Mhm.
The
Yeah,
question
yeah, it's
on
like-
And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down for this like soundtrack right now.
The
That
qu-
was tight. That was fun, and the weapons are still great.
the question on everyone's mind though is, did you get to Ravenholm?
Yeah, dude.
You
Uh,
don't go there
Ravenholm.
anymore. We all know you don't go there.
Dude, Ravenholm was tight. It was super
Yeah,
tight.
The
Ravenholm's
gravity
great.
gun.
And getting the saws and just like
Is it,
Ravenholm was
is it called a gravity gun? What's it called?
Yeah,
in that
it's called
gun?
a gravity gun.
Gravity gun, yeah.
Although Ravenholm is amazing, the best level though is when you go to that prison on the beach. What is that like?
Oh, that one's crazy.
Not
That
City
one's awesome.
13, but it's like Precinct or something.
I love
think
the
I
dune
just-
buggy stuff.
I think I just got there
That part is the best.
because I just finished the dune buggy stuff,
Dune
and
buggies.
then you had to like travel by foot over the sand.
Like with the ant lions
Right,
and
yeah,
everything.
the
Yeah,
ant
ant lions.
And I did that. And then I got the ant lions following my will with the squishy ball,
That's in the prison then.
and then I just got to the
Yeah,
prison.
yeah, okay.
Oh,
So I'm
that's-
just there.
That's awesome. Did you get the orange box?
Yeah.
Did you get it on any of the sales? Because there's been like nonstop sales recently.
No, I'm a dum-dum, and I didn't get it on the sales, and not only that, I've been waiting for the sales, and then right when I think of it again, the sales closed 2 days before.
Yeah,
Because
Wait,
I've been
on
wanting to
Xbox?
pick up,
This is on
what
Xbox
is it?
360, right? Or the PC?
you can get on Xbox 360, PS3, PC, Wii U. No, not just joking.
Wii
That's a
U.
joke. There's nothing on Wii U.
Because there's a game I've been wanting to get on Steam, and I didn't get it yet. Maybe go to Dave, and then I'll think of it.
Okay, well, we just gave out his real name. Sorry
Oh,
about
sorry.
that.
I said my real name earlier.
I didn't
I just
I didn't
say my
listen
first
at
name,
all.
right?
I
Yeah.
still know him as Stank McBank,
I
Stankerson.
just didn't get my full legal name and social security number.
We're all about legality here. So, Davey Pooh, what you been
Yeah.
playing?
Okay, so I, for the first time in my life, have actually played more than one game in a year. So I played, since we last spoke, Ori and the Blind Forest,
Ooh, yeah.
which is
Yeah,
really
looks
great.
good.
Oxenfree, which is also really
Nice.
great. And then I tried playing Shadow of Mordor. I played it for about maybe 35 minutes, and then the man decided that I wasn't going to be able to play it.
Man.
Which of those games should I dive into first,
The man.
Brian?
I mean, you've done the order pretty good, but you actually beat Oxenfree,
I
right?
did beat Oxenfree. We're actually on our second playthrough of it.
Nice,
Um,
man. What do
yeah.
you think of it? I've actually never played that one.
Super fun. I think my only critique of it, Jake, right?
Okay.
My
Critique?
only critique.
Still not sure about that.
Still not sure if that's
I don't know.
Siri,
the word.
how do you say critique?
Critique.
My only critique of Oxenfree would be it's just a little janky. The movement is a little rough, but it's such a small component of the game, like it really doesn't matter. The story is super compelling. The writing is, for the most part, pretty good. The voice acting is good. The soundtrack is killer. And the amount of time it takes to beat it is just really fun. Like you can probably sit down 2 solid nights and just beat the game. it's kind of like binge watching, the equivalent of binge watching Stranger Things, something like that.
And the most important news out of all that is it's come to Switch, which is the most important
Has
console.
it actually?
Wait.
It is.
Stranger Things or Oxenfree?
Hopefully both.
video
Netflix
streaming
is-
services.
Yeah,
Oh,
that is a thing.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in the news. But yeah, Oxenfree is one of the mini games that we will hopefully get a chance to discuss in the news about Switch.
Yeah, Oxenfree is great.
What do you think of Ori and the Blind Forest? That's one of
Love
my
it.
favorite games from Xbox One as a exclusive. That's probably maybe my favorite exclusive. I like
So
Halo a
fun.
lot. Yeah, that's just the
Yeah.
artwork.
Yeah, the
is
artwork is really great.
Jake, you got to play it, man. It's a PC game also.
It's on my list. Yeah,
really
that's
good.
all I do is I've switched to Steam.
Yeah, man. You and the
because
rest of
I
those traitors
I got
bastards.
so tired of buying console and then
That's false.
and then boxing. Like when I boxed up my Wii,
No, don't do
put it in
that.
the garage.
No,
I was like, how many consoles am I gonna keep buying?
you should keep buying all of them.
So I was like, I'm gonna switch to Steam, and I did, and I switched to Steam, and then I switched to handheld.
And
Like,
he regrets every minute.
Do
of
you
it.
have to keep? Don't you have to keep upgrading your computer pieces to play like your video card and that to get?
And don't you have to keep spending $800 every time you upgrade it? Tell the truth, man. Don't
Yeah,
lie about
Depends
the
on how
PC.
PC Master Race
well,
you are.
I just
fake
when
news.
it starts to get like not good, I just play the older games that aren't as graphic intensive,
Okay.
and then you know what I mean, like because
Yeah.
there's plenty of games that are
Like Age of Empires 2,
like
everyone's
like,
favorite game.
Jeez, what is it?
Math Blaster.
Math Blaster, Reading Blaster,
All of those.
Chips Challenge.
Everyone's
Solitaire.
favorite games.
Josh, to your
Hyper
point,
Light Drifter. Gosh,
That game is
that,
awesome.
like you don't need to, you know, that it's tight, and there's plenty of games that I like that aren't super intensive. I mean, I'm playing Half-Life 2 and I'm loving it. So
McDonald's.
we're in a
It's
Vita,
illegal.
McDonald's, Steam commercial.
Got to put
graphics
McDonald's
are
on
great,
there?
but it's lower on my list of like
So
necessity.
you don't really care that much if it's coming out
I
like.
like when it looks pretty, or,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, but it's lower on my list.
Okay.
So story and gameplay and all that stuff.
And Josh, JP,
Yo.
Jay Palderson. And sorry
Hey.
about interrupting you
Skip
guys.
it, Josh.
Hey,
tonight.
Alderson.
We don't want to know anything about what you've been playing.
I
We
don't
want to know about
actually
your love
play
life.
video
So
games.
please talk to us about that. This is a new podcast, okay?
Her name is Cindy.
The
She has a
nude.
mustache.
Nice.
Whoa.
So, guys, don't reveal so
What?
much.
He has a type.
That's a type. Hey, girl, Michael. I just came up with that joke.
Wait, what was the joke?
First,
Didn't
said,
get the
"Hey,
joke.
girl, Michael." It's a joke I came up with.
From The Office.
Yeah, from The Office.
Oh, I love that show. Michael
Oh,
Scott.
Michael Scott and Michael Sarah as Michael
Cera,
Scott.
As
Yeah.
Michael Scott, love it.
That's my favorite scene is when Michael
what's that
Cera
show about?
comes in as the boss. No, what have you been playing?
I have been playing a few things. I started The Witcher.
Okay, that's good.
The first
I
one?
like how we're
The Witcher
starting.
3.
The book series
Witcher
by
3.
Pullman
Yes,
author.
yes.
He
the-
started the book
Polish.
series.
The guy who foolishly opted out of getting payments for the video
Oh,
games.
my
I read
yeah.
some of his short stories.
Are they
so-
good? I saw it at Barnes and
They're a
Noble.
little
I wanted
long.
to pick some of them up.
Like 10 minutes or so to read. I don't deal with that type of S.
So I've been playing The Witcher. I haven't had a whole lot of time to dive into it. I also played The Evil Within.
Nice.
Game is terrifying.
Yeah, well, it's good. That's what you want to do right before you go to bed.
No, I
You have your nieces
honestly,
and nephews watching it with you,
I have
right?
honestly, yeah. I've never
Jake's
played
daughter
a
Vita's
game
there.
that
Vita.
I've never played a game that actually like scared me like that. Like there's stuff everywhere. It's worse than Dead Space.
Okay, well, we all know how much we love Dead Space, so it's worse than that. What else have you been playing?
That's it.
So
I've
just
been
those
playing a lot of
two
two
things?
games. So.
How far are you Evil Within? Are you almost done with it? 50%?
No, I'm just an hour into it. I've not.
What's
had
the
as
exact
much-
percentage of completion on that,
I
Josh?
need
We're
to know
gonna have to know that.
every
So
single
we're not gonna move on until we know.
About 4%.
And what Xbox
If I were to guess.
One game?
Okay.
Is that on Xbox One, I want to know?
You're not a real gamer.
How's your Halo Wars 2 progress coming?
Halo Wars 2 is finished. But
The first time.
I
He's
went
going to go back.
I'm going back and I'm playing
back.
through Halo Wars Definitive Edition, the remaster,
Oh, excellent.
and I'm not very good at it. Is what I'm learning. Is that I don't even want to finish it.
Well,
Nice.
I'm sorry.
Going,
Well, I'm gonna-
going
Yeah.
flippy floppy.
Yeah.
Brian, how are we feeling on Prey this week? Loving it,
Hooray!
hating it,
Loving it,
there we
hating
go.
it.
loving it, hating it, hating it, loving
Guys,
it.
they did it. They asked me. This is the first ever. Josh never asked me what I've been playing or what I care about. He's always
How
a
those load
jerk.
times?
Everyone knows
How
that.
those Prey load times?
load
I
times.
love them. I love load times on consoles. That's why I do not own a Switch. False. This is all a joke, guys. I own a
All joke.
Switch. No load times. I've actually been playing a lot. It's been 2 weeks since we recorded. I've been playing more Horizon Zero Dawn, which is not much, maybe 2 hours in. Really cool, but I haven't been feeling sitting in front of my TV so much. So the only 2 console games I played on like TV consoles are Battlefield 1. I don't know if you guys got a chance to play that. Really good game. It's just like the sense of scale is amazing.
Is it like Salt and Sanctuary?
It's actually Salt and Sanctuary exactly. It's a 64-person Salt and Sanctuary Vita reboot port. But yeah, no, it's just crazy when you're playing a map and there's 30 dudes trying to take up this place.
You don't know they're all dudes.
I know that for a fact. They all their names say dude, and they got a picture of a boy right next to them, and a stick
Human
figure.
male.
And they've got their pictures by their faces, and they're all smiling, and they're all kids.
That's why you play it.
That is actually why I play it. I love it. But I've also been playing. Nice. I don't hear that enough.
So it's brought to you by.
Oh, McDonald's, please sponsor us. I just can't wait to get McFlurries all day, every day.
Every day.
All day, every day. No, I've been playing though. Goner on Switch. Did I talk about that last time? Okay, it's kind of like it's a roguelike. It's not kind of. It is a roguelike. So I've played it probably for 3 hours, but after you die enough times and no progress carries over, you're like, hey, as cool as this looks, I don't really want to play it anymore. A 2D platformer, get a bunch of guns. You can keep the items that you get, but it's procedurally generated levels, and I don't know. So I got that because it was $10 and I want to play something on my Switch. I got Mighty Gunvolt Burst. Have you guys heard of that? Did you guys ever hear of a concept game called, oh my goodness, it's a guy who made Mega Man. He made Mighty Number 9.
Oh, yeah.
So that's trash from what I've heard. This is like a 2D demake of that. And that's just what I've heard. I don't really know much about it, but it's a 2D demake of that.
Never even read a review about it.
Yeah, I just heard it. A guy on the street was walking by. He's
Can you
like,
clarify what a demake is?
So it's like, instead
listeners who
of
don't
Mighty
know?
Number 9, which is kind of like a 2.5D game where it's newer graphics on a 2D scale and there's things in the background.
Oh, like a Donkey Kong Country Returns type thing?
Yeah, like that.
Okay.
This is more of like a original Mega Man style graphics.
Okay.
And there's some cool things. Nice. There's some cool things where, like, you go through and fight the bosses, and you can choose, like, create your own weapon. However, they don't really explain anything to you, so it's kind of intimidating. So I played that for a little bit. I beat Snake Pass, a game that I mentioned a long time ago. It's like a platformer where you just like are a snake and you roll up and down things. It's really rad.
Oh, the cell phone game, Snake.
A cell phone game. That's a
Right.
Snake. It's on all Motorola phones.
Wait, Razor or Sliver?
Both.
Okay.
And oh wow! And I beat Cave Story. Have you guys heard of that game?
Yeah, we talked about it on the podcast
Okay,
last
cool.
time.
I couldn't remember how, but I didn't beat it at that point. I think I just started playing
Yeah,
it.
you just started it.
I don't remember you talking about it, and I've listened to every episode.
All
Well,
10 of them.
Jake's
The
on
fan
you,
is
man.
here. The fan is here, guys. We can't let him down
The
today.
fans are here.
Fans
The
are
fans.
here.
Oh, sorry. Well, now we got 2 producers on the show. No, Cave Story is amazing, man. It took me about 5 or 6 hours to beat it. I loved every minute. Wow,
that's
I'm at
saying
this
something.
point where I just want games to be on the Switch, so much so that I'm like looking at games that I didn't even want to buy when it came out, and like, well, I guess I'll buy this because I just want to play something. So as I've complained about only once ever for
Right.
fellow listeners, I've never complained about this. There are not enough games on Switch, and I want more games on it. And I will not. I'll only just say this real quick: Virtual Console.
First time I've heard.
He actually has a
about it.
contract. In his
Yeah.
contract, it says
He
to
says
not.
every
There's no
episode
contract
I
about
must
Virtual
say.
Console.
Sorry, guys, they signed that contract today. I'm willing to break it for you, the listener, because I love you. But no, we actually need to.
And that's us. So.
The listeners
We're
are
right
here,
here.
guys. I guess we did everything for them. We did it. We won.
We want life.
We should probably take a quick break-a-rooney and then come back and talk about some news. Badooch.
Hey everyone, venture into the pop culture cosmos today, where you'll hear our conversations on different topics within the world of movies, TV, video games, comic books, technology, board gaming, and more. You'll also get a taste of some of our other shows within the cosmos as well. So come on and join us each week as we delve into the pop culture cosmos.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Cosmos.
And now we are back and ready to talk about the news. We're bringing you those sweet licks that you've loved and known and loved, and we got new segments brought to you by Davey Boy over here, also known as Stank Bank. Everybody knows that name way better.
We're a video game podcast, by the way.
We are actually an Anime Land podcast.
Podcast.
We talk about anime and how to watch it through LAN networks, not on the internet.
This literally just opened like an adult film, so I just want to remind you
guys to know. I just want you guys to know
something about licks. So
that we're here for licking and gripping and all the things that you love to do.
You got the sour end
The
of that.
ripping and the tearing.
This is for you, kids.
What's that hedonism video? That YouTube video? Have you guys seen that?
Which one?
They interview a guy who is attending hedonism too.
Oh, of course. Why wouldn't you?
You guys not know that
No,
video?
I've never.
Oh, it's like a sensation. Oh, well. We'll talk
Okay,
about
we'll
it
put
later.
it on the
Did it go
podcast.
viral,
real quick.
Dave? That's
Like
what
Chuck,
we're
It is viral.
Okay.
Hey, for you guys
Hands
listening
down.
out there, just respond in the live chat what you think about the Hedonism 2 video. Okay, so, hey, we got some new stuff now. We're going to talk about some stocks because we know you guys love them and we know you guys trade them and we know you're all millionaires. All of the listeners are millionaires and we love you.
This is now a buy and sell and trade and hold podcast.
This is what it's about, guys.
Yeah.
We're
Love
changing
stocks.
it, rebooting again. Okay,
Yeah.
give us the rundown, man.
Reboot's a good show.
Well, I mean, something I guess of note
Sure
is
it is.
Activision Blizzard stock has gone up pretty significantly in the last month.
What's the numbers?
I think the number is something like 5.8% in the last month, which is pretty significant, considering that it's a pretty tough market right there, especially for AAA companies.
We're back. Okay. Okay, so
alright.
we are back to talk about some stocks. Last we heard, you mentioned something about Activision stock going up?
I did, yes. It went up close to 6% in the past month. I think we mostly, or the people on the street, as I like to call it, are mostly attributing that to the Overwatch and in the esports craze that's kind of
Overwatch League.
sweeping the niche. Other than that, there really isn't a whole lot of crazy news going on in the video game stock world. Nintendo stock has not gone up too much, considering that they've released the Switch, sales are good, and they've announced the new virtual thing. What's it?
Virtual Boy.
The Virtual Boy. No, I was kidding. The mini SNES.
Yeah. That's
And,
gonna be
Do you
good.
think their stock will go up when that comes out?
I don't know. It's kind of a weird industry, so I'm not really sure. I thought their stock was going to go up a lot more in the past month than it did. So for one thing, stock markets are just sort of volatile and are really really contingent upon the political environment as well and just what's going on in the world. Like the video game industry, as well as almost any other sector, went up considerably once Donald Trump became president, which I don't think anyone expected. So
political.
So who even
Fake
knows?
news. That's fake news.
Oh, guys, we've
This
been
is the
fake
Onion.
newsing it
We're
all
a
day.
subsidiary of the Onion now.
We're a subsidiary of the
We
Onion.
do stock, fictional stocks.
Fictional stocks. So wait, so you said Nintendo was at an all-time high?
Well, they're not. Okay, I guess they're at an all-time high.
Of
Not-
$5, right, a share?
No. So they're currently trading at $39.87 a share.
Oh, man.
Their 52-week high is $44.33 a share, but their 52-week low is $17.45 a share.
Get on that.
Which is all like pre-Trump stuff. So their stock has gone up considerably.
Post-Trump.
Over doubled.
Nice.
Yeah, so I guess you could say their stock is at an all-time
And
high.
that's all because of politics, guys. We've done it.
Yep.
Politics did everything.
Yeah.
We know all about them, too.
So-
As a professional political...
So what did Russia have to do with this? Is my next
And we
question.
love... This is my favorite thing, is to divulge into things that everyone knows and loves, and everyone is actually an expert on. So let's continue this.
Okay. All right.
But is there any other stock news that's really sweet and...
No, I think that about covers it.
Okay, I like hearing about sweet and tart stuff. But anyways, about stuff that might change the stocks. Jakey Poo, you mentioned something cool.
Well, I'm not sure how much it'll affect the stocks, but
Rumors.
we all saw Sony put out that patent.
No, we didn't.
For the
Explain it to me. I
for
don't know
the-
what it is.
For a new handheld.
What?
Yeah.
What's it
you
gonna
guys
do?
talked about it a
No,
little
we didn't.
bit.
No, we didn't.
Did
Shut up.
I mean, very little. No, not weeks ago you guys
Okay,
talked
well,
about
that
it.
was probably a lie.
I recall that.
So I
Probably
just
Eric
read
and-
a little bit more about it, and I went and looked at it. It's just a sketch of it, and it looks kind of similar to the Switch. Actually, it looks like kind of like a tablet with two like old school PS controllers on the ends. I don't know if they detach; it wasn't part of it, but I was just curious that it looks so much like the Switch, and I think think they're watching the Switch and kind of seeing how it plays out.
Do you think that's how when the PlayStation 5 comes out, which someone wrote an article about that today, that they predict it's going to be out
2019.
2019. But do you think that's what it might look like or could look like?
Well, I don't know what it's going to look like. What I'm hoping is, I mean, we're kind of reaching a point of like diminishing return in terms of like our phones and like computers and tablets are like, they can show super good graphics, right?
Right.
So I feel like I kind of want it, all of them, to kind of go with the Switch is. You know,
Yeah.
I want
Take it on the go.
I want it to be on the go, and I want to plug
Yeah.
it in. And I don't think that's what the next one for Sony and Microsoft's going to be. You know,
Yeah, I
but
wish
I
it
want,
was, but yeah.
but I want whatever this following one.
Weren't they trying to do something like that with the PSP Go? Do you remember that? They
Yeah.
had some kind of mode where you could play.
The PS Vita. They had PS
that
Vita
what it
TV,
was?
and the PS Vita is set up to be like a handheld PS4 where it does remote play, but it doesn't work great because you need really good Wi-Fi, and you can't. It doesn't have the exact same amount of buttons, so you have to use digital buttons in place. I am totally on board with this, Jake. This is what I want: is more
Sounds
games
cool.
that I
It's,
can.
I mean,
all
it seems
for
like
and I can
it's
play
what
when I want.
everyone would want.
Yeah.
In term, right? I mean,
Is it a patent application or was it approved? Did they just file the like, hey, we want to get this patent?
that's
it
a lot
might
of
be
big
an
words,
application.
Dave.
Uh,
I don't know.
None of us are lawyers here, including you,
let's
Dave.
assume
We
that
don't
we're
know
not lawyers.
anything about lawyers. Whereas I like to call them liars. That's a
Right.
joke no one's ever heard
Yeah,
before.
that's a good one. I love it.
No one's ever heard that joke. That's crazy, right?
Just asking questions.
Yeah, questions lead down dangerous roads.
That's true.
Okay, so there's a game that came out that we know and love, and we've talked about this before. It came out this week. Joshua, you bought it. I'm waiting for mine to ship. What is it?
Final Fantasy 12.
Oh, yeah.
The Zodiac.
Final Fantasy
New
12.
topic
Yeah.
for the podcast.
We have never talked about a Final Fantasy before. Can you explain what that series might be?
Well, it's kind of like Tales of Rosaria, except that it's not. It's not anything like it.
Only
These are not-
less bad.
These are not jokes anyone's ever heard. No one
I'm
knows
so
these
glad.
games.
I'm so glad Donna is not listening.
Yeah.
I mean, now that we got this
Donna,
out of our system.
please. He's mind blowing me right now. So, did you get to play yet?
No, not yet. It's still sitting on my shelf. I haven't had a chance to open it yet. But I played. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
really
played
good.
some of it when I was at E3, and I didn't see any like noticeable differences. But
Did you play the original?
I did play the original.
Oh, okay. I thought Final Fantasy 15 was the first one. Or is that the first one you beat?
What?
First
Wait,
Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy 15 is the first Final Fantasy?
The
No,
first
that
one
you're
that Josh beat.
Oh,
I
that-
thought.
No,
okay.
Zelda was the first.
Oh,
Breath of the Wild
okay.
was the first Zelda
Sorry,
game I
guys.
ever played all the way through.
I just love Final Fantasy so much I want to tie it there. Okay, Breath of the Wild was the first
Can
Zelda.
we hit on 13 too? Have we covered?
A few more
Oh,
times.
I feel like it's exactly what I wanted in a sequel. Just throwing
What
something
do
real
you
quick.
think of the whiny emo boy characters in
we
in
love
these
these
games?
and we've never done this before too. That's what makes it so.
You've never done it with me.
and we need to do it with everyone that's on this show
right.
all over and
We
over
can
again.
skip ahead.
Okay, so there's other gaming news before we talk about just some games. There was another PlayStation game that was announced.
Well, yeah,
Wanna
they
talk about?
announced Gran Turismo will be out on October 17th.
Now, Josh, give it to me straight. Is this a racing game, as you young kids call it?
Yes, yes.
What do these young kids like to do in these cars going so fast?
Well, I guess you just kind of get in these cars and you press X until you go around corners too fast.
it's
and don't
actually
make it.
normally this R2 button or the right trigger. I'm sorry you
I mean,
failed.
That
Sorry,
sounds like
that-
South Park quote where he's Cartman's driving NASCAR. He's like, I'm gonna go fast and turn to the left sometimes.
Danica Patrick.
On a real track, real
But
race.
I guess what my question to you guys is, I don't know if you guys play racing games, but do you think that Gran Turismo, like it's been an on and off game over the years? But with Forza 7 coming out, do you think that Gran Turismo, even with the new VR capabilities in Gran Turismo, do you think that it's enough to dethrone Forza?
I don't
Whoa,
think so.
that is a
I mean,
very technical question.
I don't know if any of
for
us are
non-racers.
actually like qualified to answer this because I don't know how many of us play racing
I'm
games.
definitely not.
But from what I understand from the people who have their ears to the street, as we like to call it in the news world,
That's a stock word.
they think that Forza's just a good series and it kind of does the thing. So do people care enough about Gran Turismo is the real question.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it's been gone for so many years. Do people really care when a game leaves for 10 years at a time and then comes back?
I don't
Like
think.
Mortal Kombat people.
Yeah, I guess like
They have Mortal Kombat to come out
there
every
are
other
there
year,
are
though,
some
so-
franchises that do that, but I mean the last Gran Turismo, like with each new one, they try to reinvent the game, and they put in all these features that they're like, oh, this is going to be really cool. And then you start to play, and you're like, this sucks. This is terrible.
Yeah.
Like, the last one, they had a whole section, like 50% of the game was racing, and 50% of the game was coaching race car drivers.
Weird.
Yeah.
Can you text while you're driving? Like
Well, that's
live?
illegal. The police will come and pull you over. So in the
police
game,
will literally pull up outside your door.
and if you have a PlayStation Eye, they actually will watch to see if you're texting when you're playing too.
Josh, do you regularly play Forza games?
Yeah, I do actually.
Did you play Horizon
Each
3?
reader.
Forza Horizon 3?
No, I don't play the Horizon games.
Those are
I'm
like
not a huge
the
fan.
good ones.
I played the first one.
Do racing games sell very well? Cause
I think they do.
I mean,
yeah,
I'm not
hey,
gonna
have
shoot
a
them
pretty
down,
big
but you're the
market.
first
Hey, you
person
throw a
I've ever
fast.
met
I
that-
used to.
You throw a Fast and the Furious expansion on those games, and people will eat it up.
That's
One of
true.
us has a brother who may or may not love racing games. I don't want
Yes.
to give that away.
You two people here have brothers who love racing games. Well, one of them is here in spirit.
Yeah.
Donna's brother.
Oh,
and
Donna's
then also my
brother,
brother
yeah.
loves.
Oh yeah, I
loves
forgot
racing games.
Donna. He also loves fighting games. Those are two
I love
games
Mario
I
Kart.
don't. Yeah.
Mario Kart.
Mario Kart is, as Donna has
I
said,
think
the
that
one
counts.
game to love.
Josh, is Forza an exotics game, or is it more of a custom Need for Speed type game?
No, it has everything. Like you can
Oh.
race muscle cars, you can race exotics, you can build and paint, you can customize your own paint job, and you
That's
can
cool.
sell it on the marketplace and stuff.
In Forza, is it an open world type of feel like the most recent Need for Speed games have been, or is it more just straight up racing? Like,
Forza Horizon is an open world, so you basically there's like you go to a race festival or whatever it is for each one, and then you can actually drive around like states. Like the first one I think was Colorado.
oh, cool.
You drive around, and then all the races are at different points on the map. But as you're driving to these places, there's like barns hidden in the brush and stuff, and you can find old cars that people abandoned
sweet.
to add them to your
That
garage.
sounds fun.
Yeah, it's a fun game. I mean, there's so many of them. It's hard to keep up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe really. There is a game though that's getting into beta first on PlayStation, but it will be on Xbox the day after. Destiny 2. Did any of us play Destiny 1?
I dabbled a little bit.
You did get to play?
I dabbled.
Okay. Did you play, Josh?
No.
Jake?
Negative Ghost Rider.
Okay. It is it's okay. It
Pattern's
plays
full.
really, really well.
It's
I found it
polished.
to be pretty boring after you beat the main story. But I really liked the gunplay in it. But yeah, the beta starts next week, and that's kind of huge. That might be one of the biggest games coming out this year.
Isn't it sort of a false name though? Destiny 2. It's really just an expansion of Destiny 1, right? It's not
The
like
game-
an EverQuest and EverQuest 2.
Yeah, it's gonna be like building on that. But the strange thing is, so originally Destiny was pitched as a 10-year game, a game that after 10 years you keep your character and the story would keep evolving.
Like, oh wow.
That because of the problems they had with Destiny 1 and kind of the reception to it, they are ditching that. So Destiny 2 starts with a total reboot. Your character will not continue over.
Oh, right.
None of your guns will come. And they put something in the story where it's like, oh, our bases were destroyed and all of
Yeah.
your stuff is gone and everybody stole everything. But, I don't know. I know a lot of people love it, and I did love like the way it handled, and I enjoyed the multiplayer quite a bit. But
Can you dance though? Can you still dance? Do you have
I
crazy dance
buy
parties?
all those emotes. Those are premium dances,
What did
okay?
you play
Can you
when
leave
played
girlfriends
Destiny?
behind?
I played as a Titan, which is like the
tank,
main,
right?
tank character. Did
Yeah.
you? Did you play as a hunter? Well, I guess.
I played
Dave,
as,
did you?
as a warlock.
Oh well, that would suit you. You are a devil worshiper, so as his World of Warcraft character,
Undead
warlock, most
Did your mom ever
demonic.
find out about that?
Oh, I would never tell my mom. Okay, I want her to love you. Okay, as
Okay.
a brother.
Wow. Thank you.
As a brother lover.
So I'm your mom's brother, or am I your brother?
You're my brother lover.
Probably both brothers, I guess. I don't know.
It gets complicated.
So, Jake, we heard some news recently, some very large news.
Pass.
On a friend. Lifeline.
This is that the Nintendo Switch was getting something called a video streaming app. Have you ever heard of one of those?
A Vidrio
A
stream.
Vidrio. It
Vidrio?
does.
I don't know what Vidrio is.
It's kind of like you put a VHS player inside of your Nintendo Switch and it plays multiple
Cassette
VHS. It's kind of crazy. Did you guys know about this?
Yeah.
It's a brand new thing. I think they got a thingy, an appy, as they like calling them, appies.
A VHS app?
Drinks and apps.
A VHS app called
Okay,
Nico
alright.
Nico, which is
really
from
what's
Japan.
called?
It's called Nico Nico. Yeah, it's called Nico Nico. And you
Are,
can watch,
is all the content on there going to be in Japanese? Is
I
the
hope.
question.
I hope.
Wait. So it's not Netflix. It's another app.
Yeah, Netflix isn't on there yet. That's crazy, okay?
Wait, is that true?
That is true.
What Netflix?
Why
was
would
on
there
the
be
Wii,
Netflix,
though, right?
okay? This is a Nintendo Switch we're talking about, a highly evolved console.
Fail.
It doesn't need a virtual
even
console.
The Wii had Netflix on it.
It
and
doesn't
Hulu.
need a virtual console, okay? It doesn't need your Netflixes or your Hulos or your Amazons.
Your Holo, your Netflixes, or Ryan. No one has any of those.
Yeah, no, this is...
I feel like Nintendo's run by Cinco.
They are a Cinco product. There's a guy, he leaves his basement every once in a 10 years.
He just messes with it with the public. He's like, okay,
He's like, you know what they
video
love?
streaming service. You're gonna expect Netflix. Okay, let's do something no one's ever heard of. That
Japan
I'm,
only.
I'm friends with the owner. Okay, Nico. Let's do that.
Nico. Now, it is backwards, but it does give me hope because it's been, 4 months since Switch came out, and we haven't even heard if Netflix was coming onto it. So this is overall good news.
I'd say just news.
It's just news.
No, this is overall great news. This is
exciting.
life-changing. All of our listener
If it's
is
supposed to
clapping
take the place
right
of
now.
Netflix, that is bad news.
This listener is clapping right now. Okay, he's getting up out of his chair and starting that slow clap.
We're both
You're
saying
both
I
right.
don't know what that's.
We had a third listener. Okay, I didn't want to tell you guys this. He's
Hey,
there.
Do you know Netflix is like $8 billion in debt? They say they're not
Shut
gonna
up.
they're not gonna turn a profit for like the next 7 years.
Wait,
Wow.
It's crazy.
really?
Yeah. They say that they're spending all their money on getting content from
yeah.
people, and
Right.
then they hope to finally start turning a profit in like 7 years. Amazon just started profiting.
Well, yeah, Amazon took like 20 years.
Yeah,
to turn a
but
profit.
they have-
You
they
gotta
have-
have the foresight to see.
They have other venues though besides video stuff, so it's
I still think Netflix can make it happen if they can start making good. We talked about it last time. It's like a Netflix original used to mean like this is gonna be awesome,
Yeah.
and then that stopped happening.
Yeah.
and
It's
then
just
I'm like,
bloated
and
now.
now that's
Now-
bloated. I don't want to invest in new stuff.
now they're on for 2 seasons
So
and
they
cancel
kind
them.
of
Like Sense8, that terrible show that no one liked. That's actually a joke. Everybody seemingly liked that show, and they canceled it
Sense8.
after 2 seasons.
Is that the
Like,
show? Is that the show where it's a really gnarly cliffhanger at the end?
Wachowskis.
Yeah.
They're gonna. To be fair, they are giving them enough money to do like a Christmas special or something.
No,
to
no,
wrap
they-
things
like
up.
a
Star
they-
Wars Christmas special.
like-
They did a Christmas
It's gonna
special.
be
It
a
was
Star Wars
basically
special.
it's like an hour and a half.
No, they're
porn.
doing another one though to wrap up the show. From what I heard, it's because like they canceled them abruptly. It was a very expensive show, so
So is Marco Polo.
yeah, that's why they
That
canceled
was
it. Okay.
canceled,
Okay, so let's do a quick rundown of the sweet news, which is Nintendo Switch games that are announced this week. We got a whole bunch of randos that no one's ever heard of. We've got an Oxenfree. We've got a Bliggity Blork.
A whoozy what's
Oh,
it?
whatchamacallit. No, but they're honestly
There's
like
Dr. Seuss games.
I don't even remember half of them, but there were probably in the last 2 weeks 20 to 30 new games announced for Switch coming between this and next year. And they're all like indie games, but I think the gold rush has begun.
This scares me though. This is like
mediocre
how the
rush.
Wii had some good games on it first,
As long
and
as
then
I
it just
get
got
Eminem,
oversaturated.
as long as I get Eminem Go-Kart Racing, I'm okay. Okay, that's the one game I want. Eminem Go-Kart Racing from Wii to come back to Switch. That's the game I want. But no,
a
it's
game we all want but don't deserve.
we don't deserve it, guys. If we're maybe really good.
Are there unlockables in that game like a peanut M&M and
The
like
peanut and the red are actually, of
caramel-filled
course, the
M&M?
normal ones.
As the green girl
Can we
in
get the
it?
Christmas M&Ms? Is there a special skin
Yeah,
we can
Santa
unlock?
Claus in it.
I can't reveal all the secrets yet, okay? I've been talking to the developers. They've been working
Wow.
day and night. They love it. It's their favorite product.
That's huge. What about a California Raisins
Are
racing
we?
game?
Where are we on Diddy Kong Racing 2?
I love it.
Actually,
I want it to happen.
That's
serious
a-
question: has there been any talk that that's even a possibility?
I think there's
I
legal
why?
things
It would be
going on
foolish
with that.
not
I'd
to
love
come
it.
out with Diddy Kong Racing.
I
too.
think multiple parties own rights to those characters. I think Rare still owns some peeps.
And me, I own the
Right,
rights
yeah,
to
so why
those
don't they
just some
characters.
I don't know why they can't
I own
just
the
cut a
chicken.
deal.
Can we get a
They made- they
Sony
made-
Marvel deal here?
I
Dave,
Give us
I
what
paid
we
a
want.
premium for
You're
that
a liar.
chicken
Fix
character.
I will fix it today.
I
Just doing my job.
I own the chicken.
Pop
Everyone
quiz,
knows
hot
that.
shot.
The
The
guy
chicken.
wearing the overalls, the big
What's
chicken.
his name? Starts with a C.
Fat
right?
Albert.
No.
They couldn't think of a better name. So they
Drumstick.
just, drumstick. Is that really the name?
That's really his name.
And
Oh, nice.
TikTok,
Silent C.
and
What's
and
the-
TikTok, right?
TikTok.
Silent
Yeah,
C.
TikTok.
TikTok, yeah. I
TikTok's
just beat
the
it.
alligator?
TT.
I
Wait,
tweeted
no,
it,
that's
like,
that's the
a couple
mouse.
months ago.
What's the alligator's name?
Crotch. Crunch.
Crotch.
Crotch.
I think it's Crunch. Or Crunch.
Or crunch berries.
Dude, that game was so
There's
hard.
Banjo, Timber, who I
It
named my
was
cat
fun,
after.
though. I mean,
Nice.
Tip
the
Tup,
best character.
the turtle. Conquer, bad for a day.
It was
Is Timber
fun.
the mouse then?
Pipsy is
The
the
airplanes?
mouse.
Okay.
I love them.
Can two
The
conversations
badger.
be going on
What's
a
the
podcast?
badger's name?
I don't know, man.
I would
What's the
assume
badger's
so.
name? He has a yellow hat. No one ever played him. He's terrible.
the
Yeah,
most
sucks.
popular character.
It's all Brian plays.
Okay, all right. So before we started talking about Diddy Kong Racing 2, we were talking about Nintendo's plethora of mediocrity that was unleashed upon the market.
Yeah, on the Wii, and we are probably
The
going to see
Wii.
that again on the Wii.
Okay.
We're going to probably see that again on the Switch.
I want to talk about Oxenfree more if you all want to hear it.
Yeah, I'm okay with talking about that a little bit since we heard it's going to be on the Switch, which I love, and I'll probably play it on
Where
there.
is this devotion to the Switch that you have?
Here's the idea,
ever
though.
Since Brian bought one.
So I loved the Vita. Sony decided, hey, you know what? I'm only going to make Tearaway one of the best games ever, and then I'm not going to make games anymore. And I hate them for that. That's why we bash them, okay, guys? It's nothing to do with anything else.
The
We bash
alligator's
them
name
'cause
was
we
Crunch.
love-
There
Crunch?
you go.
Captain Crunch.
I
thought
knew
we
it.
figured that out.
I just came up with that, Captain
Look up
Crunch.
the
No
badger,
one's ever even
Josh.
heard of
That's
that.
the most important.
There's an
one.
elephant named Taj.
Yeah, he's
Taj?
he's like the
He's
genie
the bad
host.
guy, right?
No,
What
no,
about-
that's Whizpig.
A cat
Whiz
named
Pig.
Timber.
And the elephant would come on the carpet.
Are you sure there's
As
a
a-
badger?
As a Diddy Kong,
you. Give me the
as
balloon.
a Diddy Kong fan cast, we really need to know all
Dude,
of the names.
Was it one of my
Oh,
best memories?
Conquer? Is that who you're talking
That's the
about?
No,
Squirrel.
Conker's the
Okay.
squirrel, you dummy.
One of my
That's
favorite
not a
movies
game.
as a kid
Bumper? Is that
was
who you're
when I
talking
had
about?
the flu. Bumper.
Bumper.
It was when I had the flu. I was home from school
Oh, I love that
for
game.
2 weeks straight.
Yeah.
I rented Diddy Kong Racing, and I rented the Devon Sawa, Jonathan Taylor Thomas movie.
Devin Sawa, my wife
what's-
loves him.
What's that movie? Like Born to Be Wild? Or not Born to Be Wild, like
Jungle to Jungle.
Wild America.
I wish it was
Wild
Jungle Jungle.
America.
It's not Man in the House, right?
No, it's not Man in the House. It's Wild America, where they tour.
I don't know if I've
They
seen
like
that
do a
one.
road trip across the country, and Jonathan Taylor Thomas is like driving.
You can stop talking about it.
Oh, it's just so
Get to
good.
Did you rent them from Blockbuster?
I did rent
Is
it
what
from
we're all
Blockbuster.
wondering.
And that is
Yep.
the plot of Oxenfree, right? That's why you're
Yeah,
telling
it's the plot twist.
They
Actually,
drive around
what I did
America.
want to say about Oxenfree though is
Yeah.
it has replay value.
You mentioned that when you were talking about what you played.
Yeah, but you didn't ask me to follow up.
I
You just
didn't.
You got your like list of things, and no one can talk about.
I
what
love
they want
lists.
to talk about.
Okay, I love lists. Every listener in this room knows that I
Well,
love
I just
Every
advocate to
listener.
buy it because you can have this replay value.
Have you
That's all.
played Fez, Dave?
I've eaten Pez.
and
Those
it's
are
the
nice.
same.
Lord of the Rings Pez over
You
there.
would like Fez, and it has great replay value.
What is Fez?
It's really good, actually.
It's an indie game. It
for
came
that.
out on all systems like a couple years ago.
2012.
Phil Fish, he's really Class A.
Everybody
Class
loves him.
Class
A.
A.
Class A.
Class A-hole.
It's like a 2D game, but he gets a hat that lets him. You press R right, and it switches, and you can rotate the screen, so that's 4
Oh.
dimensions,
Oh, cool.
and you solve puzzles that way. But it's super pretty game, super good soundtrack. Disaster Piece, I think. Did the soundtrack.
Disaster Piece, same as
Fantastic
person as
soundtrack.
Hyper Light Drifter.
It looks
Oh.
super pretty.
Yeah.
It's super like when you fall, you just appear right again. So like,
Oh, yeah, super quick.
You're playing it. It's just
And you're
like
praying.
you can. I pray to it.
And I played it.
I pray to it. Fez
Really?
and Jesus right there.
With just the hat.
Is it on
though.
Xbox One Arcade?
It might be on the Xbox One.
Xbox One, yeah.
But it was on PlayStation 4 and Vita, and it was on originally came out on Xbox 360. Phil Fish, which I'm really bummed out, he had some issues with people on Twitter, and he is an interesting dude. He made a really, really cool game by himself. Well, not by himself totally, but for the most part by himself.
He did make a really cool game. It's super tight. I think you'd really like it.
Off
think I'll check it
topic,
out.
real quick, did you guys watch Indie Game the movie?
I did.
That is a really good Netflix watch if you haven't watched it yet.
Is it a Nico watch?
It's a Nico watch only, actually. Sorry. I misspoke when I said Netflix. No, what do you think, Jake? That's something that we both have watched and something
Yeah, I
that
like Netflix.
No. Oh my goodness.
Is that movie good though?
I enjoyed
was
the
told
movie.
it was good.
It shows the lives of some developers.
Super Meat Boy?
Funny enough, it follows 3 developers that all had successful games.
Yeah.
Why?
That'd have been funny if this.
And I remember
successful.
I remember reading the developers of Poncho, which you guys might not have even heard of. It's on my list to play.
Secret Ponchos or
just Poncho.
Okay.
I used to wear
Poncho
ponchos.
Villa.
They came out with a game, and I read their story as they went through it, and pretty much they got screwed and then lost all the rights to their game. When
that sucks.
it ended up being kind of a crappy thing. What happened to them?
Yeah.
the game ended up being pretty short. It's out. It's on Steam. I want to buy it. It's on my list. I've been wanting to play it because I thought it looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
But they were talking about how like the movies followed these guys and all their games
Were
did
successful,
well.
yeah.
But it's like, it's like these guys and everyone they know, it has not gone.
Just like
very
any
well.
other
It's
industry.
yeah, I mean, some games are going to succeed, and many, many, many more are going to fail. But
But I like it because I like seeing the lives and of the developers. I do that same thing I do with authors. I love reading about their lives outside of the authors because I feel like it gives me a better grasp on their work.
yeah, the production cycle's a really interesting thing, especially when you're finishing it up.
It's called Indie Game.
Indie Game, the movie, and they actually have like
Check it
a
out.
sequel-ish because it was a Kickstarter film. They have like
It's
a
called AAA.
like
game?
I don't know, Exit Loot or whatever.
Has
It's a
DLC.
AAA.
It's
It
called
follows
DLC,
It
yeah,
follows
okay.
the Halo developers, Assassin's Creed, and few other
Aaron
games.
would love it.
And they're
Or
like,
Donna.
"We did it, guys. We sold 100 copies."
Just a bunch of like 50-year-old men in white suit or black
It
suits.
follows the CEOs of Ubisoft
Oh my god.
and Microsoft.
Oh, I don't even know what that is. I
As
just
they all they're trying to make is $1,000, and
only $1,000. They probably make that in a minute.
I know, dude.
Those people, all that money is publicly available. You can look up what they make.
and publicly traded. Badooch. So before we get to our biggest topic of the night, I want to talk about the Nintendo Switch phone app, which is going live with Splatoon 2. I knew you guys thought, what should Nintendo Switch do? They want to do online for the first time ever. What's the best way of doing it? It's creating a totally separate mobile phone app that you have to use to interact with your friends online, and that's how you
Is this
call
the
your
one
people.
that you have to have like an additional piece of hardware and there's
Yeah,
wires going
yeah.
everywhere?
It goes from
Well,
your
that's
phone
if you
to
want to
your
talk to
headset to the
friends.
console.
So this is after assuming you've navigated through the lengthy process of even adding your friends onto the Nintendo.
Nintendo, are you
whatever.
screwing with us?
So right, so this
Nintendo, we know you
Nintendo,
listen.
you're a character from South Park.
So this
Nintendo,
is.
we know you listen.
Haven't we talked about this on the show? The hardware.
We talked about the hardware when it
Okay.
was announced a few weeks ago. It just the phone app is going live. I'm interested to see it because from what I heard is it actually keeps really relevant data. It keeps like, hey, the matches you played, who you played with, what your win-loss ratio is.
And they sell
Things that sell it. It's all the Google farmers. But no, it does stuff that not every game shares with you, and it's cool that at least they're doing that. It is ridiculous that you have to have a separate phone app, but
Yeah.
hopefully they'll make it cool where it will like go through the games and they'll do something interesting with it. But let's do a real quick one last break before we talk about the big topic of the night.
Hey everyone, if you're in the Southern California area and are looking for the best way to improve your home, look no further than adding some always green synthetic grass today. Whether it's creating that awesome backyard that's kid and pet friendly, or that putting green to work on your golf game, Always Green provides installation and landscaping with only American-made products, such as their famous synthetic turf with advanced drainage technology and backed by a 15-year warranty that will have your yard looking great for a very long time. Always Green also installs retaining walls, custom lighting and driveways, and the most beautiful stone walkways, so if you live in the Southern California area, what are you waiting for? Financing is also available, so call for a free estimate today. 714-614-7814. That's 714-614-7814. Or stop by their store at 16772 Wanda Circle in Huntington Beach and get your home looking great with Always Green synthetic turf and putting greens. A proud sponsor of Pop Culture Cosmos, Humanican Media, and the PCC Multiverse channels.
Anyways, we are back and we're better than ever. And we are. Don't use that. That's trademarked.
It's a wushu finger hold.
That's why you say badoosh, which is not trademarked. I actually checked that.
You can't trademark a word.
I
just so you
trademarked
know.
all the words. I trademarked Elder. I trademarked mine. I trademarked Microsoft. So anyways,
Microsoft.
I want to know your guys' opinion about the ever-evolving games, how games are getting patched and how they're changing life. When I started playing games years ago, and we've kind of discussed this in some ways before, but I really want to get in the nitty-gritty of it. When we used to play games, you bought a cartridge, put it in your console or a disc, You played it. It was done. The game never changed. Put it back years later. It's the same game. The thing that made me think about this was...
Wait, are you segueing into the fact that we might get a Sonic and Knuckles DLC?
We are exactly segueing into that. We are actually unveiling that. We're the people. We got the NDA. We're doing it. They said we got the DA, disclosure agreement. They just wanted us to disclose this.
NBA,
please,
WNBA.
Somebody please disclose this.
If someone knew what these things were talking about.
But no.
Don't we have a lawyer on the show?
We do need a lawyer.
Jury's still out on liar.
We don't know anything about these lawyers. I don't know who you speak of. But Horizon Zero Dawn, it just got patched.
Right here, it's Dave. He's talking about Dave.
Guys, sorry, I'll have to edit that out.
Stank Bank.
Stank Bank.
Yes, that is my profession.
Everybody knows him as professionally at work as Stank Bank Jr.
Yep, Stank Bank Jr.
Professional Stank Bank Jr.
Stank Bank Jr. He's here in the flesh, man. Yes. Horizon Zero Dawn got patched. I want to say either this week or last week, where they added a new game plus mode. I think a harder mode. I know they did for Zelda Breath of the Wild, but anyways, they changed the game significantly, and that's just kind of a normal thing now. The game came out on February 28th, I want to say, or 27th, and this is almost 4 months later, and the game's changed a lot. I mean, we talked about Mass Effect Andromeda getting patched multiple times. I just want to know what you guys think about the idea of you buy a game a year later, it's going to be a totally different game than if you buy it day one, and maybe for the better.
I don't mind it, but I think that, like we talked about before with Mass Effect Andromeda, they're being rushed to put this product out, and I think now they can put product out before it's ready to fully be played and still patch it as they go. I don't know if that's something that we all are on board with, but it gives them the capabilities to basically put out an unfinished product, and like a BioWare.
Yeah, I agree with Josh. I like it in the sense that you can add cosmetic changes to it, or you can add different game modes, things that don't materially change the arc of the story, things like that. But when you rush a game, when your CEOs are screaming at you to put a game out that you're not happy with, and we can just patch it later, and you change the ending or change some significant aspect to it, I think that is one, taking advantage of that system, not using it correctly, and insulting your buyers, saying that our purchasers will still buy this game even though it's rushed and junky, and we'll just fix it later. It's like the George Lucas of video game development.
It's like E.T. for Nintendo.
E.T. for Nintendo, exactly.
But what about Mass Effect 3 then? Are you talking about that specifically?
I am talking about Mass Effect 3. I think Mass Effect 3 was also a mistake. They succumbed to the terrorists of internet fanboys. Like that, it was...
Or how good they are as people. Yeah.
It was social terrorism. And why? Okay, so if you're making a painting, or if you are writing a song, and you shouldn't be influenced by people who you don't know, who have no impact on anything that you're doing after the fact, making you retroactively change something that you created and you felt positive about and strongly about when you put that out there. It would be like you put out a song, you release it, and someone says, that song's dumb, you should change it. Oh, okay.
And of course I listen to them and I change the song.
I just think it's ridiculous.
It is, but that's like the nature of the internet too. It's the same thing with like film reviewers. You have people go online, and if you notice on Metacritic, you go to see a movie, you have full reviewers who hated it, and you have like 300 like regular people who liked it. The reviewers always outweigh what normal people like to do. So it's it's just the nature of the internet.
The loudest voice.
Yeah.
But it's kind of, I mean, that is how things are changing. I may have mentioned this previously, but just in case I did, Kanye West's last album, The Life of Pablo, he actually changed it 3 times. He literally changed the album. I don't know what he changed. I only heard the final version.
You don't know? He sent me the first 2.
What were the circumstances of the change? Did he change it, release it, and then changed it?
Yeah, he changed it. I don't know if he changed it based on peer pressure, or he wanted different songs, or he added more songs, but I know that it was actually a different release. And I'm just curious about this world that we live in, where because we're in like a digital age, you can change anything you want, and nothing is not nothing, but many things don't have the same weight. You can, if you make a mistake, change it. Mm-hmm. And there's good things about that, like we mentioned with Mass Effect, where it squashes some bugs, but I don't know. I feel like as if you're a buyer early on, if you bought Horizon Zero Dawn day one, it's not necessarily like a bad thing because they just added modes, but what if you 4 months later you don't want to go back and you don't want to do the things? I mean, you essentially like bought a game that's kind of different. I'm not trying to pick on Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah,
I think what they did was very small and minor, but other games have changed a lot. Like I think it was Torment, Tides of Numenera. If you want to access the patch content, they suggest that you restart the whole game. That's like, and that was 3 months after they patched it.
With the intention of making it better, though. Making it play better, removing bugs.
And they added they added stuff, though, too. So it's like, I get it.
It's all supplemental, though. It's nothing that changes the story or changes the art. I mean, it may change the story materially, but...
Yeah, and I'm not against Torment,
too. Well, it's also, like, relevancy. Like, if there's something, like, game makers, game developers, they want their game to stay relevant. So, like, say there's some kind of social movement happening, like with Mass Effect, they're like, oh, hey, we need to, we had Pride Parade, so we need to make more transgender, homosexual characters. Like, it's just, it's socially, they want to say socially relevant. I'm sure they're not going to be the last game to do something like that.
Yeah,
and I'm nothing against that, but it's like,
well, when it's forced.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I just think that
it's just done poorly.
I just think that the artist should hopefully want to include people, but their last say is kind of what should be the case because they came up with it in their minds. Like, I don't know. I'm just, we've played games for a long time. This table is filled with oldies, okay, guys? I know we're lying to you saying we were teens, hip. We just started games on iPhones, but no, I mean, like, I miss the days of like Chrono Trigger and games that probably had mistakes that would have been fixed, but that are like, hey, the game is done. I'm not going to change it. There is no way to change outside of mass recall or reselling a new copy. I don't know. I miss the days of a day one purchase being the last like purchase, like not needing to wait. Again, Mass Effect 3, in my case, not needing to wait 3 weeks for them to patch in something that everybody on Earth wanted because they left the Mass Effect 1 character creator faces out of Mass Effect 3, and now we don't play Mass Effect 3 anymore because we waited so long.
It sucks too because like you have these games and the moment not only do you have to install them and that could take anywhere from 2 to 4 hours to do, you also have
1
to
minute
wait.
If your internet's good.
Yeah, but you also have to wait for them to install all like the day one patches that come out, and that takes even more time.
Well, I don't know. To me, this is a tool, and just like any other tool, can be.
It's a tool, right,
can
guys?
Be abused. Can be used for good or can be abused.
He's a tool.
And I think we've already talked about good examples of it and poor examples of it. And it also comes back to how you view video games. Do you view them as a product or do you view them as a piece of art or some sort of hybrid? And if you view it purely as a product, there's really no harm in doing this. It's like it's just a piece of hardware that you give to somebody that they use, that they exploit for their own entertainment, and then the company is like, hey, we're making it better, responding to feedback, responding to peer reviews, things like that, and we're making the product better. But in terms of looking at it from a piece of art, it's abusive because it causes the people to rush it. The product or the piece of art is poorly manufactured and rushed to market, and you shouldn't change something that you put out. And this is it's all like the Star Wars remastered stuff. No one liked that.
Those are all changes for the best.
It's just embarrassing. You
didn't like the disrespect that George Lucas showed the original Anakin Skywalker when he changed.
Oh, that was probably my
slap in the face.
All the editors who have made that film.
Can't.
All the Ewoks that they digitally enhanced.
I can't.
Jabba in the hangar, New Hope.
That scene was actually
that was kind of fun
because they filmed it back in the day with the intention of bringing it. So I will let that one slide. I let that one slide.
But
Jake, what's a game that you've played recently that has changed? Can you think of any?
Again,
one that's changed poorly and one that you changed that you like.
And on all the changes too.
I'm a little
Go
different
with them.
because for a while now, for years and years, I don't buy a game new. I wait, and it's just like. I wait for it to come out, and I wait to see what changes they may or may not do. You know what I mean? And
wait for it to go on sales. What you mean?
Both.
We never talk about sales.
Well,
too.
I have so many games like.
Don't listen to our previous episode.
The only game I bought brand new was Fallout 4. Before that had been a long time, and then I wait, and I don't wait till the first DLC comes out. I wait till all of it's out and done. And then I buy like the pack,
like Mass Effect Andromeda, right? You're gonna keep waiting for the single player DLC.
So it's weird because like I have a bunch of other stuff going on in my life. Like I write a lot, and that takes up a lot of my time. That would be game time, and
We'll cut that out.
you're right.
Play games.
My point is like I don't know if I'm the best, case study on this because I'm more than willing to wait to see how the game finally pans out, and then if all of you guys and Eric and everyone's like, oh, it ended up not being too good, I'm like, check off my list.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
And I think there are a lot of gamers like that, and I especially think as we start to get older and older, and just as life. I mean, Dave knows when other time constraints coming up more and more, I think you guys might see it too.
18-year-olds.
I play less games.
Jake's my dad.
I play so many less games already, so the ones I play, I'm like, this has to be good.
No, totally.
I mean, you're driving
you have a
cars
very
and able to
limited
smoke
amount of
cigarettes, so I get how it is.
Between work and
smoking
writing,
cigarettes and vaping.
and then my baby, in that order.
Texting.
Yeah.
taking snappies.
Prioritize.
I'm just like, I can only play a handful of games a year, and I'm like, I guess in
okay.
a way it's kind of cool because I'm like, sweet, what were the best games of 2000?
Yeah,
You can still speak to a game being changed though. Like, does it bother you that games can be changed
No,
post-release?
I don't like it.
But imagine if you spent... So you did buy Fallout. How
I did
quickly
buy
did you
Fallout
buy
4.
it right when it came out?
I bought it on my Xbox.
Did you buy it though, like, when it came out, or how long?
I bought it, it was the day of.
Okay, so, like, that game, it wasn't as substantial as maybe Mass Effect or a few of the other ones we mentioned, but it did change quite a bit within
How
like
so?
patching.
Well,
they fixed... I can't remember what they fixed, but I remember they fixed a ton of
But
stuff.
they're fixing things. Like, how is that a bad thing?
It's not, but you paid $60 for this product that you thought was done. Like, I'm not saying it's a bad thing
At least
necessarily.
they're doing it for free, though.
Yes.
At least you're not paying for it.
Yeah.
I agree. We're not, like I said, the target cases, and I do buy a lot of new games, but I want to get back to Jake real quick about this, is like, if you bought this thing and say you played through the whole thing, and then say you had infinite time, right? Say you're this kid, you play through the whole thing, and then a week later they fix all the bug things because
what's
there are a
my
lot of quests.
motivation? Really sell me on this. What am I?
No,
I'm this
candy.
kid. How old am I?
No, what I'm saying though is like they fixed all the stuff a week later. They had all the bugged quests, and you finish the game. You put it down. You realize, hey, I'm not gonna be able to finish these quests. Is that cool that they did? I mean, it's cool they fixed it, but you got screwed out. You had to like play the whole game. Like.
But you're right. We all want
something to be done.
A done, completed game.
Yeah,
but that's not where it's going.
I get that. I just
at least for the bigger companies, and I mean, I understand from a business standpoint. I understand why. I mean, it lets them test the waters when they release a product. I get that, but from like a gamer, I don't like it.
Yeah, and from like some of the standpoints, so like Mass Effect Andromeda got critically panned for the most part, and a lot of that was buggy quests. Like they patched in story later. Mm-hmm. Like I know this is an extreme case, but
patched in story.
Yeah, that's rough. I think you're right. I think Mass Effect Andromeda is the zenith of terrible, rushing to market and then patching it later. I think we can all agree that is probably the worst example. But games are much bigger than Chrono Trigger. Games are a lot bigger. There's way more people involved on it.
There's no game bigger than Chrono Trigger. That's actually a lie.
well, Chrono Trigger is larger than life.
Like Fallout 3 was a pretty big game, and when it came out, it was pretty solid.
But there had to have been bugs.
The Bethesda doesn't have a good track record with bugs. But no, I was one of the people who was lucky. I played Skyrim on Xbox 360. I almost suffered no bugs.
Dude,
but
my Skyrim froze so much in loading screens.
See, like that's a crazy thing, and I heard that from tons of people. I know a lot of people.
That's why I wait.
Yeah,
that's... even if it was a pretty solid game, they're all gonna have bugs
at first.
So like, even if I bought a game, I will generally wait a couple of weeks because that first patch will fix
but
a lot.
That's just smart.
And I get that. And
that's just me being awesome.
I'm going to buy. I'm gonna buy the new South Park Day One. South Park Fractured Butthole. I'm going to.
Wait, how's it said?
Fractured Butthole. I'm going to.
What was the last one called?
Butthole.
Okay.
The last one, Stick of Truth. I'm gonna buy. I'm gonna buy Mario Odyssey, and Nintendo is not as much of a culprit when it comes to this, but like I'm gonna buy these games day one. Because I really am excited and I want to play them and I want to be there and know what's going on. I don't want to wait till some person gets to write, oh, you were unhappy with the end of Fractured Butthole. It's like, I got to skip all these news stories because everyone's just trying to ruin and spoil the ending of it. And it kind of bothers me to think, well, I'm going to buy this game. I'm probably going to get the worst version. If I waited till it went on sale months later, then I would be getting it not only cheaper but probably a better version, and that to me is is kind of backwards crazy logic. Like, hey, I'm going to sell a game for $60. It's going to be the worst possible version of the game. And if you have the patience, you will get a better game. So it's like, screw everyone who pays full price. Like, we talked about this last week about games have not gone up in price, even though inflation has changed drastically. So I don't want to keep reiterating that, but I don't know. For me, it's just something I want to bring up because I think it's an interesting topic that people have to live with now. And now that patching is so easy, it's something that just happens.
I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I think it's going to be how they do it.
It kind of sucks though because like with Prey, for reviewers especially, like
some people couldn't finish it.
But if you're reviewing the game and you have a situation like that guy from IGN who scored it at a 4 because he literally couldn't finish the game, not because it's hard, just because he couldn't. So it's kind of a double-edged sword for them. So I mean,
or something.
No, the game actually was so bugged he couldn't even get to the end of it. Like, it bugged out in certain areas. And he really liked it, and if you read his review, it was like, hey, this is awesome, this is awesome, this is awesome. But the only thing you see is the review score, 4 point whatever, because it's like, hey, I can't finish this game. And to me, that's...
Quit.
I don't know. Like, quit.
Well, how rare is that, though, where there's a bug in the game that keeps you from beating it? Isn't that pretty rare?
I feel like I've read that quite frequently in this last generation.
Does your quality of life go down drastically by buying this game on day one? Like,
no,
are you committing suicide?
It's not like a humanity thing. It's just like hey, I feel like I would rather have a game postponed an extra couple weeks and it get patched. And I get why they can't do that because there's millions of players.
And sometimes, they need to release.
They need to release
to like millions.
Yeah,
of
they got their
people
quarters
because that's when they find the bug.
Yeah, exactly. You don't always find the bugs until you release them.
I totally understand the pros of this way, and I'm not against it. I like all the quality of life changes, but we have a friend, I won't name names, that is right now in the hospital who is unable to get a Wi-Fi patch for Zelda, and they patched that game several times with quality of life changes, and now he just has to play it without that. And that's like, oh man, it is not a big thing in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. But it sucks that that's the case. Like, if he could get a patch, the game would be better.
I just don't see what the problem is because it's like, at least they're fixing it. Like, because if this was Chrono Trigger 100 years ago, it's just like, oh, you just play around it and you have to like learn on the playground the right way to play around it.
I understand, and I understand that from Ocarina of Time, the water dungeon or water temple or whatever.
Yeah, you could break the game by if you go too far. In that
I don't know. I totally understand all the validity to it, but I still think
that never happened to me.
He uses player's guide.
I got it. No, but I saw that for people, and it never happened to me. So
But anyways, that's just something I feel like is a good thing to discuss and think about, because if we don't keep talking about this, if gamers don't like ever decide to stop that, then people are just going to keep releasing more and more bugged games.
It's what's going to happen.
Well, I mean, Mass Effect Andromeda did not sell well, so I think
that's a message. I think that
it's going to show them they're going to find a range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
like
what
Praise
happened
Range
with
was okay, but it still didn't sell well.
No, it is. There's going to be this range, and then they hit it with Andromeda.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, we can release X amount of bugs now. And, this is a good... they've learned, don't patch in story.
Unfortunately, Mass
Honestly,
Effect tested
that's
the
my
waters
biggest
there.
one.
You beat it.
Yeah, I finished it.
He beat it before all the patches, so he's a perfect test case.
They tested it with the most anticipated game, my most anticipated game in this era.
And they tested it on Josh.
And
singly.
Josh, primarily.
I was the guinea pig.
Can we get this one idiot to buy the game? We will be set for life.
We got one.
We got a live one.
Anyways, we're going to keep it quick, and we're going to cut it short. If you want to
quick
talk...
and hard. Short and long.
How many likes we getting?
We are getting not stop likes. And not stops, but non-stop likes. Chime in on the bottom of the chat, please. Tell everybody what you think with a few high fives. Anyways, we want you guys to email us at superbscast@gmail.com. That's super, SUPERBS, cast @gmail.com. And
so
we want to hear...
super and then SUPER? Is that just how you spell super?
Oh my god. SUPERBSCAST at symbol gmail.com. And we did it, Reggie. You said we couldn't do it, you dumb A. That's Reggie, the president of Nintendo America. Anything you guys want to add before we
I was just going to ask that.
He's listening, man. He's one of the listeners. Anything you guys want to add before we go?
Who made these cookies?
That to us people that can feel things, it hurts.